When I play up game and then talk, I'm trying, Jennifer.
Rip City, we are back, baby, and we got some big news to talk about here tonight. I mean, obviously, we know the big news already happened with Dame being traded, but we got a little bit more spicy stuff after the fact. So I got Fawad here with me tonight. Fawad, how are you doing?
I'm good. Having a tiny little crisis at home, so hopefully nothing comes up in the middle of the episode. But yeah, my roof is having some issues. Let's hope everything's okay. Other than
So
that, I'm great.
if you guys hear hammers, nails, Bob the Builder in the background, you know it's just Fawad fixing his roof. So
other than life's good. Let's get into it.
Let's just jump into it. So the trade that happened with Dame, obviously we know we got DeAndre Ayton, we got Jrue Holiday, we got some picks. We all know that. We all know we sent off Nurk, we sent off Nasir Little, Keon Johnson, but we then turned around and sent off Jrue Holiday, which I mean, I think 99.9% of all of the Rip City fans knew that was going to happen. Some people, suggested that we still keep him, but that didn't make sense. And honestly, if you really think about it, I think we got a better return for Jrue Holiday than we did for Dame, if we're being honest. But then again, Dame allowed us to get this return, so I guess when in the grand scheme of things, Dame still got us the best return. So, for those of you that do not know, we sent Jrue Holiday to the Boston Celtics, which is a great move for them. Milwaukee and Boston are going to be two fun teams to watch. And Portland got Boston's 2029 first round pick, Robert Williams III, Malcolm Brogdon, and then the Golden State Warriors 2024 first round pick. So,
did you see the 29 Boston?
Yes, 2029 Boston first round pick. Yeah.
I just missed that.
So, first things first, Fawad. When the deal came out, what was your reaction? What's your thoughts? Let me know.
The Jrue one, right?
Yes.
I loved it instantly. I thought, there were strong rumors that he was going to Boston, or like Boston at least was interested in him. And I thought, if that did happen, it would be like Brogdon, Horford, and maybe like one pick. I was not expecting Robert Williams to be involved with that at all. I'm a big Robert Williams fan. He does have like major injury concerns, which, hopefully they're not as bad with us. But when he is on the court, I love him. I think he's a great fit for any team out there. He's a great defender. He can, he can kind of finish if you feed the ball to him. But like defensively, he's really, really good. That year that 2022, 2021, the year that Marcus Smart won Defensive Player of the Year, he was the front runner for 2/3 of the season or whatever it was, and then he got hurt, and then all of a sudden that narrative shifted to Smart for some reason. But like, everything that Boston was doing defensively, I feel like he should have gotten the credit for it. He should have gotten the credit for it rather than Smart. But the point is, he's, I think, one of the best defenders in the league, at least at the big man position. So I'm really excited that we have him, and I hope we keep him long term. I think they've said that we are planning on keeping him at least for the season, but I really do hope that we keep him long term. I'm sure he can get us a pick or two, but I think he's really worth keeping around. And then also we got 2 picks, which was more than I expected. They're not like they're not like Pistons picks or anything, but 2024 Warriors probably gonna be like, let's say mid-20s, maybe like early 20s, like 20 to 22. I think that's solid. 2029 Boston, it could be anything. Personally, I think odds are that's not going to be a great pick, but I think, again, like a 20 to 25, I think I'm very happy with that. Like 2 picks in that range, you can get a starter level player for that pick. So I think, very happy with that. Brogdon, apparently he has big health concerns, and I'll get into this a little bit more later, but when he plays, I think he's a good player. I think he if he is healthy, he'll get us another pick as well if we choose not to keep him, which I think is the case. But you know, I do hope he gets healthy because I'm sure Clippers or some other team out there, but definitely the Clippers would be interested. Someone's going to give us another first for that. So overall, very very happy with that return. I was talking, I was talking about how underwhelmed I was with the Dame return. That's because I expected Jrue to get maybe one late first and nothing else, or maybe like a decent player and no picks. So after seeing what Jrue was actually worth, like I love the Dame return. I think it went better than I expected for sure. And my apologies to Joe Cronin. I didn't think he had this in him. Respects for one of the best trades I've seen in a while, not just for Portland, but like in general.
Yeah, we'll get to Joe Cronin here in a second. Obviously, I'm higher on Ayton than you are, so I felt like the trade just originally, even with Jrue Holiday still being here, that it was still a good trade and that we got pretty good value for it. But after you tie in everything you get for Jrue Holiday, this trade is, I mean, I don't know if you could have done much better than what he did, like what Joe did. He did patience. He talked about that, and we'll talk about his press conference here in a little bit. But he talked about patience being one of the biggest things, and I mean that's exactly what he did. I mean, being patient, not giving in to the Miami drama and Dame drama, just being patient, waiting for the best deal. And honestly, Dame, I think, has a better chance of winning a championship with Milwaukee than he does Miami. So it may not be where he wants to be, but he's got the best chance in Milwaukee, I feel like. But no, what you said about Robert Williams, spot on. Defensively, he is. I'm trying to think of other bigs that may be better. I mean, he's right up there with the best big men. Like, he defensively is a beast. When he is healthy, and I agree with you 100%, that's the biggest question mark with him is his health. So for all those people that said Nurk was injury prone, we probably got a worse injury prone player than Nurk here. But when he is healthy, he is absolutely a beast. He can, we're going to be an athletic team, so he fits right in with that. He can alley-oop. He plays above the rim. He's tough. He's hard-nosed. I think last year or the year before, I can't remember, he averaged 2 blocks a game. Like, I mean, he's just, granted, he's on a good team in Boston. Last year was 2.2.
Mm-hmm. In under 30 minutes.
Yeah, granted, he's playing for Boston, good team. But I mean, 2 blocks a game is amazing. You brought up Brogdon. From the interviews, from the media interviews, they did say that they plan on keeping him, which to me is kind of strange, but I also can kind of see why. That does not mean that once the trade deadline gets closer that we don't move him. Injury concerns for him as well. He's, I think, got probably a worse history than anyone else that in this whole trade. But he's a good veteran player. He's going to come off the bench. I mean, you do need veteran players on a young team. So we have Jeremy Grant, we have Brogdon. That might be it. I mean, I guess Simons is probably considered a veteran. He's been there for 5 years now. But, I mean, you still look at him and he's, 24, 25? So he's still insanely young. But you do need the veteran presence. Brogdon can do that. Like you mentioned, Golden State Warriors first-round pick, barring some crazy injury to Steph or, something. I mean, they got Steph. They still got Clay. I don't give a shit about Draymond Green, so they still got him, though. It's like you said, it's probably going to be in the 20s. Now, some injury happens, that could be a more worthwhile pick. But my guess would be in the 20s somewhere. You had brought up Boston's first round pick as well in 2029. This one is less tasty, as I would say, to the Milwaukee's 2029 one, only because Jason Tatum is still so young. So in 5 years, he's still going to be 30. So Boston's still probably going to be a pretty decent team if Tatum is there. Jaylen Brown's going to be there. He's signed that massive extension. So they'll still be a pretty good team. So I agree that's probably going to be a later pick. But these are all picks that we could use in trades, 2-3 years from now to try to get something better. The more I think about it, the more I can't wait to see the Milwaukee pick and the swaps. The more I think about it, I think the swaps are going to be worth more than we expected. I don't think I see Giannis being there around 28, 29, 30. I don't. They've lost all their assets to trade away to get better, to get younger. I don't think they're gonna be where Giannis wants to be.
I actually still think those are not going to be very valuable, because they did, like you said, they traded everything they have right now, but
Mhm.
that first swap is what, 5 years down the line. By then they'll have restocked their assets. Dame will be, on his way out, like the way Jrue is right now, maybe like 2-3 years left. He might just do the same thing again. Giannis will still be in his prime. He'll be like 32, 33. Trade Dame. What they'll probably have, like, what, all three picks back by then. Trade those again, get the next star who's available at the time, like maybe
I
Luka
mean,
or something.
it's gonna
So
be hard to trade Dame at 38 years old, or however
well,
old it'll
actually,
be in 2028.
I think his
With
contract expires in 2027 anyway, so they'll have
okay,
a year of flexibility.
I mean, you have to think the draft picks that they have right now that they haven't traded away. These next couple years are probably going to be very late round picks. They're going to be late 20s, maybe maybe the very last pick. So you're going to have to hit in the draft to really have some good young players as you get closer to 2029. The more I sit there and think about it, the more I get excited for them. I'm not usually excited for pick swaps, but for some reason, the more I sit here and think about it, these pick swaps could be pretty big, and the 2029 for Milwaukee could be pretty big. I mean, that's all just my gut feeling on it. It could very well be the exact opposite, but the more I think about it, the more excited I get for it.
Honestly, I think
And
as long as Giannis is there and healthy, I think you could put 14 like guys off the street, and I think they'd probably still make the playoffs. So that's just my opinion, but I think their front office has shown that they're committed to winning, and I think if they win another championship, then even if the team isn't great, I feel like Giannis would be willing to stick around. And I just think,
well, let me ask you this then. Giannis has, I mean, the Bucks are a good team. They have good players, right?
Mhm.
With that being said, last year was a disappointment. They lose in the second round to the Heat.
Last year was a disappointment, but they were the number one seed.
No, I
It's like,
agree.
what, the 30th pick?
But you had Giannis questioning if he was going to even stay there. Had they not made this trade, and if they would have had another disappointing season, I don't see him staying there. So in 4 years, if they're back to the same kind of, in 4 years, Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez are not going to be the players they are now. So you're going to have to replace them. Dame's going to be on the decline at that point. You're still going to have Giannis, who's still going to be a very good player. He may not want to be there anymore. But this is all hypothetical. We have no idea what's
It's
going to
all
happen.
hypothetical.
Yeah.
We
So
don't know, but if I was betting on it, I would think those picks are not going to be worth much at all. I think those swaps are not going to convey, and I don't think that pick is going to be all that great either. That's just
my
if I had to bet right now.
yeah, my thoughts are if he was willing to leave with the team he has now before Dame, then I could see him being willing to leave with a team he has 5 years from now. That's not going to be as good, but it could still be good. Let me ask you one question real quick. Can we trade the swap rights to another team?
Uh,
I don't know the answer to
I
that one.
want to. I know
I
you can
don't see why
trade.
you can't.
I think you can trade like the better of. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, so we can trade the better of our pick and Milwaukee's
Yeah,
pick in
that's
that
right.
way,
I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're right.
or the
I think
worst,
you are
like
right.
either one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's an option too. With all these trades, we have essentially 5 picks here that we can swap, trade, make trades with. If 2-3 years from now we're looking pretty competitive and we're just like a piece away, we now have all these assets that we can use to try to get a player to in a trade. I still highly doubt we get free agents, but I mean, I kind of doubted Joe Cronin on this one, and he exceeded my expectations. So I'm not going to doubt him at this moment right now. But yeah, just to sum this up, this trade has been. I mean, if you listen to the radio, if you listen to, as much as I don't like to listen to ESPN, if you listen to ESPN, you like, they are giving Portland props on what they did. Cronin did what was right for us as the Blazers, and he did right by Dame by sending him to a team like Milwaukee, because he very well could have sent him somewhere that was not Milwaukee or Miami, and it would have been much worse. Granted, I don't think a lot of teams would take him. If they're not competing, they probably don't want Dame. But so props to Cronin. He pulled off a great trade, 2 great trades, and it remains to be seen if Brogdon is on the move. I highly doubt that we move Williams at least this year, so I agree with you there. And I hope we don't, especially if he can stay healthy. Him and Ayton are going to be fun. They may not be the best fit together, Ayton and Williams at the same time, but I mean, you can I know you're not big on Ayton, but having one of them on the floor at all times that's a positive, in my opinion. And then we can't forget Tumani Kamara. I think that's how you say his name. I've been looking at it. I've been working on it. He's just a young prospect.
I heard some Suns fans call him too many cameras, and I thought that was funny.
He's a young prospect. He looked okay in the summer league. He looked okay during the regular season, and nothing too crazy, nothing too special. But I mean, who knows? We'll see. And something I saw crazy, and I just remembered this, and now I want to see if I can find it real quick. Robert Williams has like a crazy wingspan. He's like 6'10", but his wingspan is like 7'7" or something like that.
I'm looking it up, and
I don't want to be wrong.
Is 7'5".
So yeah, so he's 6'10". He's got a wingspan of 7'5". That's a pretty big wingspan. You have Sharp, who's 6'5" technically, but they say 6'6", and he's got a 7-foot wingspan. So we are definitely more athletic. So we are going to be seeing a lot more ball movement, a lot more slashing to the basket, cutting to the basket, a lot of alley-oops, a lot of dunks. It's going to be exciting. I don't want to get expectations up too high with me. A lot of people think that we're going to be, a 6, 7, 8 seed. Until I see how everyone plays together, I can't get any more excited than potentially a play-in team. And probably a lower play-in team, and that's best case scenario in my opinion. But I mean, we definitely have some good pieces. Definitely do. What's your? Do you have expectations yet, or are you still waiting to see?
Expectations is a tough word. I can see us, best case scenario. I can see us as a 9-10 seed. I like our roster. Best case scenario, I can see it happen for sure. Our starting lineup is very solid. I don't know who's gonna start at the 3. If maybe it's Grant, maybe it's someone else. But I think we have 6, 7 guys who are, I think, going to be able to contribute, especially if they've making for the young guys, if they've making that like a jump. I can see that happening. I can also see us being like a 13 seed, not great, but showing good signs for a young team is how I would put it. I think I saw a post on Rip City today, like, will be fun but not good. I can see that happening for sure. We could be a very fun team, fun to watch, a lot of fast breaks, lobs, but we might not necessarily be good. I can see that.
But granted, we haven't been good the last 2 years either, so.
Yeah, but there were expectations those years.
That is true. Very true.
And then I can also see them being, decent. And then I can see us. I really hope this doesn't happen, but I can see us, shutting everyone down in like February and tanking to the bottom for like the 14, 15 seed for another top pick. Again, I really hope that doesn't happen. I don't think it will, but I think it's definitely possible.
And something else I wanted to touch on here real quick. I'm deeply saddened by what happened, but obviously it's a business, so I get it. I'm going to do my best to make it to the Milwaukee game. I feel like I that's the least that I can do is to make it to the Milwaukee game. But the price hike and how fast those ticket prices went up is absolutely insane. Before I looked at them, like, I didn't look specifically at Milwaukee, but if you look at pretty much all the other games, they're like in the $20, $30, $40 range. And then the moment he went to Milwaukee, I went and looked, and they're already up to 150, up in the very tippy top. So I mean,
hold on, you're getting tickets for $40 in Portland?
The not like big games.
Yeah, but like here in Toronto, like the worst team, the worst game on a weekday is like $80-$90
Let me
for
see
like
if I
the worst seats.
let me see if I can find one here that's a bad one.
It's rough out here.
Let's do this. Oh no, wait, that's that Pacers.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get both the tickets for both Bucks games. They're only 2 weeks apart for Toronto, which is a little bit annoying, but it's fine.
You ready
Got
for
a
this?
decent price, so I'm happy with it. What's up?
Tippy top section for the Utah Jazz at Portland Trailblazers, $9, $12.
Wow.
So
That's
I mean,
insane.
so look at the difference there: 9, 12, 13. And granted, it's Utah. They're not a terrible team. They're not a good team. But I mean, look at the difference there. And I
Would you
get
say
it.
is the worst team the Wizards? Let me check the Wizards.
So if you guys are planning on going to the game, it's going to cost us some money. But I mean, I feel like at this point, I have to be there. I mean, that's been my, for the last 10 years, that's who's been the reason, not the reason why I'm watching the Blazers, but like it's Dame. And so I feel like I have to be there. So hopefully if you guys are going to be there, we can all meet up. I truly am planning on going. I know I said that the last 2 years, but with kids and everything, not having a real reason because we weren't a great team, I didn't feel like driving up there. So, but this is enough reason for me to drive up there. So I plan on going to that. And by plan, I mean, I'm probably going to be there, but
Okay.
go for it.
Corrected. Wizards tickets, the worst ones, not including standing only, 55, which is it's not great, but
But that's in
okay.
Canadian, right?
Yeah, so maybe call it like 40 or 35
Yeah.
US.
But
They're
that's
the
also
worst seats
Toronto.
in the worst
Toronto's a
team.
better
Yeah.
Toronto's a better team though. So yeah, the
they
price
are.
hike is definitely crazy, but it's understandable. I just wish that I get it. They want to make money, so I get it. But let's move on. I was not planning on
We got a
talking
little
about that,
sidetracked.
but so I listened to, unfortunately, I've only been able to listen to Joe Cronin's media interview. So I wanted to talk on it a little bit, and essentially, pretty much all of it was about the Dame trade. There was a little bit about the future, but it was pretty much all about the Dame trade. And I just wanted to point out a couple things. I want to give him props. I haven't been on the Cronin is a terrible, terrible GM, but I haven't also been like he's doing a good job either. So I need to give him props where they're due. He did very good on this trade. And what he said in the interview, I mean, I feel like were pretty good answers. He said he had to essentially put feelings aside and understand that, as much as Dame has meant to the Blazers and everybody, like he has to understand that he has to do what's best for the Blazers first and then Dame. So putting feelings aside, being patient, not giving in to Miami, even with Miami with Jrue Holiday, because there was talks about Jrue Holiday going to Miami. I can't say enough good things about this trade. I'm excited to see what he has in store, what he has planned for us in the future. I'm really excited to see this team. It's starting to come together pretty excitingly, and it's not something we've seen in a long time. So, do you have anything on the Cronin interview?
I watched the Cronin one and like a couple of the others. I haven't gone through all of them. So far, I honestly didn't find anything too notable, except for Malcolm Brogdon. I think you kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. It sounds like he's going to be staying, but I don't know how much that means because I don't think he has many suitors right now because of his health. Like people want to make sure he's healthy before trading for him. So that means no matter what, we're starting the season, and we can't start the season saying, "Oh yeah, like we'll be looking to trade him." I think like you have to say he's gonna be here for a while, and I think I'm actually trying. I think I wrote down the quote. I'm trying to find it, but I did hint like he's probably not gonna be here long term. I didn't write down the full quote. I just wrote. He said, with regards to Brogdon, they're open minded. So yeah, it sounds like we'll wait for a good trade. I think they're hoping that he plays well and he's healthy to start the season, which I think it sounds like he is. And then, at the deadline, I'm sure a contender will want a guard for their bench or maybe even this as a starter for Clippers. But yeah, I think that was the only really thing that stood out to me. But for in general, I feel like for GMs on media day, everything should be taken with a grain of salt. They're all just trying to hype themselves up.
Very true.
It happened with O'Shea, it happens with every GM around the league. So that's why, nothing too crazy. He's still not on my good side, but I was one of the ones saying he's a very bad GM. I think I'm more neutral now. I don't want him fired at all. Give him, I think he's earned 2 years from me. We'll reevaluate in 2 years.
I mean, there's definitely things I don't like about him. I do feel like he kind of lied to us. I feel like he kind of lied to Dame. But at the same time, you can't also just blatantly go out and say, no, we're not trying to win. So, like, I mean, what's he supposed to do? Granted, I mean, he had a real chance at trying to do something, and maybe he did try, and I don't blame him. Like, seeing the trade return he got here, if he really did try and there was no trade that he thought was worth doing, then I understand that. I think a lot of people think that he just didn't even try to make trades to get better. But I mean, that we'll never know. We'll never know if he really tried or not. But like you said, I'm neutral on him. I've always kind of been neutral on him. This definitely made me feel better about him, and I'm very happy with what we got. I know I've said that probably 20 times, but I am excited. I really am excited to see what this team can do.
A package worth being excited about.
Yeah, and this is the first time that I can watch the Blazers without expectations of, we need to make the playoffs.
Yes.
We've got to make the playoffs. And I can just enjoy watching, even if it's bad basketball, I can just enjoy it because I don't have expectations of we should be making the playoffs. If we make the playoffs, great. That's awesome. Do I think we will? Probably not.
A huge load off our shoulders, like no expectations. Every win is bonus, you're not expecting anything. It's just, let's just go out there and play.
And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. We're going to have a lot of fun highlights to watch, a lot of fun moments to watch. And Scoot's going to be exciting. Sharp's going to be exciting. Simons is going to be exciting. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So strap in, everybody, because it's going to be exciting. I don't really have anything else off the top of my head that I wanted to talk about. Oh, actually, I take that back. One little dig here. And I mean this. I don't hate Miami. Like, I don't dislike them. I don't dislike the players on their team. But Tyler Hero making the quote about the Blazers and all that stuff, whatever. We didn't want you in the first place anyways. So, but second off, there was, and this could just be fake. Who knows? But there was a report that there was like multiple GMs that were so happy with Cronin that he did not trade anybody to Miami. They were pleased with the fact that he didn't just do it to do it. So even if that's true, even some GMs are getting tired of the Pat Riley just thinking he's entitled to whatever he wants all the time.
I didn't see the second thing, but about the Hero, I actually love it. I don't take it personally towards Portland. I think I just love that competitive attitude. I wish more players had that these days, but I have no ill will towards Tyler Hero. It's not like he was the one.
Yeah, he's not wrong. We're not going to be a very good team. Like, we're not going to be a great team, so he's not wrong. But also at the same time, he's probably kind of painted a target on himself for when they do play us.
Sure, but it's part of the game.
He's going to probably have Thibault on him a lot, and that'll be fun to watch. And, I mean, to say that anyways, and truly, I don't care whether he I don't care about it. But when we were when the talk was we're going to get Tyler Hero, but we're just going to send him off to another team anyways, why does it matter? Like, why are you so concerned about us? Like, we were already saying we weren't going to keep you. So I don't know. It was kind of weird, but I truly don't. I don't care about it. I'm just happy. I'm just happy we didn't trade Dame to Miami. Did you see? I know Jimmy Butler does weird hairdos and stuff, but did you see his new hairdo?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was funny.
And then all these people just saying like, "Oh, the Dame trade really got him in his feelings, and he's all emo now." It's pretty funny.
That was the point, though. He's funny like that. He wanted people to think that. I guess
he looks like a Andre 3000 from Outcast.
Yes,
If you guys have not seen Jimmy Butler, go check him out. He's got last year he had those crazy long dreads. Remember those?
Yeah.
Like crazy. Like almost to the point I was like, is that a wig? Like there's no way that's his real hair.
I'm
And
still not convinced it wasn't a wig.
I think it had to be a wig. Like your hair doesn't grow
Yeah.
that fast.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I don't know how extensions work, but maybe that's what they were, extensions. But
Yeah,
the hair he's rocking now is hilarious, and he's got the little nose piercing. He's a
I
funny
think he
guy.
had lip piercings too.
Oh, was it? Maybe it was a lip piercing.
No,
Maybe
I
that's
think
what I'm.
they were both nose
Yeah.
and lip.
So if you guys haven't seen it, go look up Jimmy Butler because it is funny. It is very funny. But I don't have anything else to talk about. Do you have anything?
I have a couple minor things. So the rest of the interviews, I think I saw part of Chauncey Billups, but honestly, I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but he's a very boring interviewer. I couldn't sit
Yeah,
through all
he is.
24, 25 minutes of it. I got the tidbit I was looking for, which was if there's any thoughts on who's going to start between Scoot, Sharp, and Simons. And, what I expected, he basically said, like, training camp, they can all fight for it, they can all earn whatever they, however they play. So that was one thing I was looking for. And then I also saw Ants, Jeremy Grant, and I think I just started Sharp, but I don't think I saw anything too noteworthy except for Jeremy Grant said. So first he was asked if he thinks he can play the three, and he said yeah. And then he also mentioned that I don't think he said who, but he said someone on the team had asked him how comfortable he is playing at the three. So it seems like maybe they're either considering starting him there, or we're gonna play a lot of lineups with him at the three. So that
With Jeremy Grant at the 3.
yeah, or at least they're
Hmm.
thinking about it.
That's interesting. So then that means they would probably be starting Robert Williams at 4.
If that's the case, they could just be thinking about like bench lineups where he plays the three. It doesn't necessarily have to be starting.
I still I don't know. I still just don't feel like we should have Scoot, Simons, and Sharp. Like I feel like Simons is the odd person out. Like I want Sharp to play the 2. I don't want Sharp to play the 3. And I think all 3 of them need to start. So it's like, how do you start all 3 of them?
I agree that I would want Simons to be the odd one out, but I think, since he is the vet, I think he has to start. So it comes down to either Scoot or Shaden. And I'm thinking it'll probably go to Scoot and Shaden comes off the bench rather than playing the 3.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
Maybe like Matisse will start at 3, but I want to see as much Scoot and Sharp minutes at the 1 and 2 as possible. That's the dream.
Yeah, I mean, I just essentially want Scoot and Sharp to get as much exposure and playing time at the natural positions they should be playing
Exactly.
at.
And
Do
build
I
chemistry.
think Sharp can play the 3? Sure, he can for spot minutes. He doesn't need to be starting at the 3 and that be his primary, minutes. So, and I know I've been on this. We should move from Simons for a while now, and it's not because I don't. And I've said it 1,000 times. It's not because I don't like him or think he's not good. It just at this point the fit doesn't make sense, and it's not because he's young still. So it's not like it's because he's old or something. We're so loaded. We're guard heavy with 3 good guards, and I just don't. I hated what we did with Norman Powell, and I hate what we're going to do with Sharp if we're going to play him at the 3.
I hope we don't.
Continue with your points. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there.
Honestly, I don't remember what my point was.
I ruined it.
But while you were talking, I did remember one other thing Chauncey said. It was that, or it wasn't like one thing, but in general, he seemed very excited, relatively, about the lineup. I think even Cronin talked about it a little bit, how they kind of built the team towards what Chauncey wants to see, like, and what he thinks his strengths are. So he hasn't been very impressive in the first 2 years, 2 or 3, I think 2, first 2 years. But it sounds like he has the team that he thinks he can do the most with. So we'll see how this season is, how the players grow by the end of the season. So I think this will be his make or break year for me, for Chauncey. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people that think if we're cleaning house that he should go, but honestly, at this point, I think the roster now is more fit for him than it has been in the past, so I am excited to see what he can do. we definitely have more defensive-minded players, more people with the willingness to play defense. So I'm excited to see what he can come up with, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and we move on.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got what, 2 more years after this year? Because didn't we do 5 years with him?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
So he's still got 3 years altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, so this probably he probably won't be fired no matter what after this year. I think he'll probably get at least 4.
Yeah.
All right, one last thing before we wrap this up, very quickly. I don't think we talked about it last time, but Dame dropped his not the song, but like the written farewell
Yes.
that I liked a lot.
Mhm.
It kind of touched me a little bit. I thought it was very well written. We didn't really, like, both of us, we never really had any ill will towards him at all. But I think even some people that were a little bit annoyed by it, like the whole drama, after reading it, everything was good. They were all just like reminiscing about the good times together. And one quote really stood out to me. I just want to read that really quickly. It is, he was just like, I think this was like near the end or at the very end. It's like, I do believe a day will come where I put a Blazers uniform on again, and hopefully by then I'll be forgiven for breaking your hearts along with my own. And I thought, that was
Yep.
like, all right, like right in the feels.
Yep. And I mean, I don't know him personally, right? None of us do, but I 1,000,000% believe he means that. Like,
I do
he
too.
was not happy that he did that. It came to this. Like, he wanted to stay here. I even think, watching some of the Bucks videos of him, getting there and walking in and looking at his jersey, like, to me, it still looked like it didn't set in. Like, damn, I really am not here anymore, and like, this is so different. And now I'm sure he's happy. He's sitting there with Giannis and everybody, and I'm sure he's happy. But I mean, that what you just said, it's perfect. He couldn't have ended that any better. So if you guys haven't read that, I highly suggest you guys go read it. He thanks a lot of people that even the people that he thanked did not expect to get thanked in a in a personal letter. So Dame cares.
That actually stood out to me too. I know you're talking about the reporter segment, and I
Yep.
thought that was really, like, really nice and really genuine, because the gist of it was he was thanking them. He's like, I understand, like, you guys are just doing your job, even if we might have had like little rifts throughout the years. Like, it's all good, like, he just thanked them. So I thought that was really, it was really, I guess, like, sweet. But everyone else that he thanked, I think they know how much he appreciates them. But I think the
Mhm.
reporters, Sean Heike tweeted about it. I'm sure some other people did as well. But he was like, I was just not expecting that at all. So I think that was a nice touch.
Yeah, I mean, you usually when you see these farewell letters from big players, it's like thanking the city, thanking his teammates, thanking a couple people. But I mean, Dame had like multiple people he was thanking that you didn't even, like, names I didn't even recognize. And it's
Yeah,
like,
some of them I didn't
I mean,
either.
he cared. He cares still. Without a doubt, no question in my mind, before his career is over, he will be back in a Blazer uniform. And that'll be very exciting. Even if it's just to be in a Blazer uniform. Like, I don't care. Not at all. It sucks to see him go, but I'm actually very excited for him and happy for him. And I know we talked about it last podcast, so I won't even get into it. But it was a very good letter, and like you said, um, I think a lot of people that were on the fence about him, I think that kind of helped sway them to understand what was happening. And like you said, that last little line there was one of the best lines he probably could have put out there. So, very good on you, Dame. Except for you forgot to mention us.
Oh, you didn't get his text? He texted me privately.
Oh, I did have a missed call. Maybe that's who it was.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Okay, well, you have anything else?
Nope. It's officially the
Okay,
end of the Dame era, start of the next era.
it is over. The Scoot and Sharp. Sounds like some some cheese or something. Scooting shark. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for listening. I hope you guys are as excited as we are for this upcoming season. Some exciting stuff is gonna happen here. So other than that, thanks for listening. And as always, Rip City, baby.